Welcome to Bald, Bearded, and Bold, the podcast for dads who are embracing fatherhood with confidence, wisdom, and a little bit of humor. Whether you're rocking the bald look, the beard, or just the bold attitude of being a dad, this is your space for real talk, dad hacks, and stories from the trenches of fatherhood. Let's build stronger families and better dads together. Now here's your host, Jason Haswell.
We are here on the podcast, Bald, Bearded, and Bold. Welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we put a new one out, but we're back again. Had the Easter holiday. Everything went well with the bunny, and we're back here today with a new topic. An honored guest here on the podcast today. We have the Honorable Mayor of Wheeling, West by God, Virginia, Denny Magruder. Denny, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jason. I'm just glad to be here, and thank you and the Monteverde Group for the great work that you guys do here in our community.
Oh, man, we appreciate it. Great. I mean, talk about great work. I mean, how many years did you serve as the head cheese?
I hate to say that, Jason, but at the arena it was 36 and a half, and it was just about 10 combined at the theater, which was
wow.
The theater was a real joy. That was a real exciting part of my life.
Yep. And I mean, you've done so much and seen so much over those years.
Well, I've been blessed to be around a lot of great folks who have always made me look a hell of a lot better than I am.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say, but
it's true.
I think you've done some amazing things yourself, and naturally, I've kind of known you from afar for many moons, and just it was, I think, a breath of fresh air to see you. I mean, after an honored career and esteemed career that you had, and basically, you were serving the city in another capacity, with all you did, to now, in the back end of your career, come out and be the mayor and the campaign and everything. And now I just think at this time, with all the renovations and everything new going on in the city, we're so blessed to have you kind of leading the direction of where we're going.
You flatter me a little more than I deserve there, Jason. But yeah, when I retired, I kind of missed being part of the happening stuff downtown.
Sure.
A little bit, and I really never dreamed that one day I'd be a politician. I don't consider myself a politician, but
right.
Clearly by definition, I am.
Well, in my mind, I mean, and on the podcast, a lot of people hear me say this, I typically am not a huge fan of politicians because...
Neither am I.
And that's what I was just going to say. To me, you're more of a businessman than you are a politician. I think that's why the city is much better off to have you in the role that you're in now, because I think you kind of represent more of the guys like me who've been doing business in the city for years and represent the citizens of the city. And you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of the city. And you kind of know, which way we should go and what's happened before, and knowing your history it helps a ton. So I just think this could be an era in the history of the city going forward that could be amazing.
I do appreciate that, Jason, because again, let's be honest, small business is what we're all about.
Sure.
That's what gives our city strength.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we love to have huge employers, big industry. That's always good. But you need those small core businesses that really put things together, drive the economy, help us establish that high quality of life that we have.
Yep. And it's, I'm selfish saying this because I am a small business owner, but, in the end, when you have people who have a smaller firm or a smaller, retail operation or whatever it may be, we are the ones that sit on the nonprofit boards. We're the ones that have our kids in sports. We're the ones that, we're in it every day. So we want it to be good for everybody around us. And as I've always said about other business owners, I always try and look local first because I want to help them and they to help us. And, we're all keeping each other afloat here. It's a kinship and I think a community of business. And I think you represent that better than anybody we've had for a while.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that feeling's in my gut as well.
Yep.
I've grown up here. I've always worked in the area. I've been on the fringes of government most of my career.
Sure.
I started my professional career actually way back in 1972 with the city in finance.
Yep.
So I learned a lot about finance. I was one of the chief financial people that worked on the bond issue that built the West Banco Arena.
Amazing.
So you can understand that there was an inherent love on my part for that building from day one.
Well, look at that. It's kind of crazy. You like sort of gave birth to the building and then became its father.
Yeah, I guess it's a little humorous.
It's a little, it kind of works that way.
I spent a lifetime involved with that, but it's a piece of our community. You know, it's a great building. People look at it. It was built in 1977.
Right.
So we think back. People think old. That building's as functional and as healthy today as it's ever been.
And now I'll say this. I mean, I've been around for its whole life. I mean, I was 5 when it was built, so I've been going there for my entire life. I think it looks better now than it ever has.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. Yep. And again, because of people like you and people in this community, small businesses who cared, they supported the bond issue. We've got Bob Herron, our city manager, who recognized very early on, upon his arrival here, the value of public assembly facilities, and particularly that arena.
Yep.
He's been a major supporter, a great partner, a visionary in the last 23, 24 years for that arena.
And you got to have that collaboration between the two. I mean, it serves both masters. I mean, everybody wins if there's good collaboration between all entities. Yeah.
Got to have it. And you mentioned small business. You know, there's a board that really runs the arena.
Right.
During my career, it was a lot of Wheeling small business folks.
Yep.
And you always knew where things were at, and you got the right direction. They had the pulse of the community.
Good ideas coming from people who are involved. I mean, they live it every day. They live it every day.
Practical.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you know, we got, you know, I think now things are moving to where there's so much. I mean, the city's changed so much in the last few years, and it's changing in front of our eyes literally daily. And I love it. I mean, it looks what's going on looks fantastic. And, you know, the thing that amazes me every morning, I come through the tunnel and then come down Main here to where I am in the Wagner building. And what blows me away is all the years I couldn't see the suspension bridge because of Wheeling Inset. And now
spectacular.
It's awesome.
You're so right. It's a spectacular view.
Yeah, and now you're going to have the visitor center there, so it's going to be the gateway to the city, and then you got, you know, what Mike Carl's done with his building with the bridge, and you got what, you know,
the New Bridge Church,
New Bridge, what they've done, and the Capitol's all redone, and I mean, you're coming into the city, and it looks spectacular.
The old Stone and Thomas building, what Red and the Williams and Lee people have done with that building.
Yes.
And then you go down the street, you got the health plan. You got Tony DiCarlo's new condos.
Oh, they're gorgeous. They look fantastic.
And I hear they're going to look better on the inside than they do on the out.
Yes. That's saying. Well, the guy I was just telling you a story about, we hired a new guy to move. He's moving here from Florida, and we just hired a new associate. And he came in a couple of weeks ago to look at apartments to move here. And he signed in the Flatiron building. He's going to live in the Flatiron building. And he's a block away from work every day.
And the views from there. And again, another local small businessman, Kevin Duffin.
Well, Kevin called me when he rented and said, "Hey, thanks for sending him down. This is great." Yeah.
What Kevin's done with the Flatiron building and his family. Wonderful.
Oh, the building looks fantastic. I mean, that building was basically useless for a lot of years, and Kevin's brought it back to life.
He sure has. And you know, it's on the National Historic Register because they actually took some of the metal pieces, I think, early on before Kevin's renovation there to the Smithsonian Institute.
I did not know that. That's fantastic.
It's a well-regarded building and a real part of Wheeling's history.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of what is going on in the city and some time frames on, you know, when we're going to see things changing and getting done. And we're going to talk to the mayor of Wheeling, West Virginia, Denny Magruder. Honored to have him here today, but we'll be right back here on Bald, Bearded, and Bold.
Hey dads, need a break from the chaos? Whether you're changing diapers, coaching Little League, or just trying to drink your coffee while it's still hot, we've got you covered. Bald, Bearded, and Bold is a podcast that talks about the best and worst things about fatherhood and being a dude. Also, we'll have some wild stories by our guests along the way. Whether it's sports, business, family, life in general, or whatever the hell you're talking about that day, you never know, so keep listening in. Now, back to the show.
Okay, we're back. here on Bald, Bearded, and Bold. Coming back here with the mayor of Wheeling, West Virginia, Denny Magruder. Denny, thank you again for being here. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So let's get into it a little bit about, we drive through the city every day. Main Street has become amazing. I mean, and we got it going up Market Street and plenty of other things. I mean, the Federal Building and the new parking garage look fantastic, and all the different things going on around the city. And kind of what I'll ask you is, what is the outlook for the rest of the construction, and anything new on the horizon that you'd like to talk about, and kind of give us a little clue on what to expect?
Sure. I'll just say that, major renovations, construction projects are painful.
Sure.
This one was painful too. We tore up our whole downtown. The beauty in this is that we have new storm sewers, new sanitary sewers, new utilities underground.
Sure.
A lot of the overhead poles have been moved. The old parking meters are gone. So this is a complete streetscape renovation. It's not just a new street. So it was painful. It's still painful.
Yep.
We would expect right now, the timeline is that Market Street will be paved very similar to Main in somewhere around July.
Excellent.
And that could move a bit depending on weather, depending upon obstacles. And the good thing is, most of the hidden obstacles, like a railroad car found a block up the street from your office here,
right,
have already been
I heard about that.
So I think we're going to be pretty much on schedule. So hopefully paving on Market in July. We've got some of the cross streets and fill in and final touch-ups. We're hopeful and been told by the contractor right now, we're looking October, maybe a mid-October date when the contractor can say to the city, look, we finished our work, this is yours. Now, that's important because so many of your listeners, Jason, have reached out to us and they're all saying, boy, we love it, but we have a concern about this.
Sure.
We'd like to see a different flower over here. We're talking about these areas where the bioswales are, where the plants are so far down from the sidewalk.
Yes.
And safety hazards. We get all that. And I think the contractor is trying to address some of that now. But at the point when the city is about to take ownership, just like you do when you build a new building, there'll be a punch list.
Right.
So we'll have a committee that goes around with a contractor. We will try to remedy any of these concerns at that point.
Excellent.
When again, we can go to the table.
Sure.
I think there's also, let's just be dead honest, after the city takes possession of the Streetscape project, we're going to want to customize it more to our businesses, to our people. We'll be looking, we're already talking about some committee input into what kind of vegetation and plants.
Sure.
So some of those may be changed out. We may find some of those are not the best choice. This summer will help us decide that.
Right.
So I don't think Streetscape's in its final form yet. The good thing is, once it's turned over to us, the things that we do will be without pain.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. You mentioned some other projects. Now, one of the things that I look at in being mayor, one of the responsibilities of a council is to make sure that we have a solid infrastructure, streets, bridges,
sure,
water, sewer, all
can't do business without them.
We can't. So think about this, though. In the last few years, we have a completely new interstate system going through the heart of our city.
Yes.
All the way to Elm Grove.
Yep.
It's basically new. All the bridges are new. Now we have the Downtown Streetscape about to finish.
Yes.
The city and the last council, in their wisdom, with some of the extra money they had from the ARPA funds, put extra money into paving. So we've paved an awful lot of city streets and alleys. We're going to continue to do that.
Okay.
We won't have as much funds in the future as they had, but we're going to continue that program. So what I'm saying to you, Jason, is the infrastructure has been a focus, and I think it's getting there. Some big projects yet to happen. The Monument Bridge in Elm Grove was another major project. It's been checked off.
I was amazed how quickly they finished that bridge.
And I thought pretty efficiently overall.
Oh, my God. And I drive it every day. I live out in Arbordale, and I take my kids to the Y all the time and for different and varying activities. So, we crossed the bridge, and I was blown away and also I was amazed at how the traffic flowed without the bridge much better than I anticipated.
The same here. I was pleasantly surprised with that outcome. And again, credit to the citizens who took the time and effort to figure that out, to try to help out. They watched for peak times. People adjusted schedules. They did a lot of things. So again, our citizens get a lot of credit there. But coming up, we have the Schilling Bridge. I don't know the exact date line yet. The funds have been secured. Now, the Schilling Bridge is that bridge over by Respecs that connects that area to Overbrook.
Sure.
That bridge has to be replaced, another piece of infrastructure.
Okay.
A big project also in the near future, again, don't know dateline, but the Washington Avenue Bridge.
Yes.
You know, that bridge has had weight restrictions for some time.
Yes.
That bridge has to be replaced.
Yep.
Again, that's going to be painful because realistically on those two projects, they're probably a year and a half apiece. They're going to be brand new bridges.
Yep.
And then we've got the Baker Street Bridge, which is the bridge that goes down through East Wheeling and connects into Fulton.
Right.
Those projects are basically funded, fund secure. Projects are in the pipeline right now because we work with the state on those projects.
Excellent.
But they're big projects. But think about when all this is done.
Wow.
Our infrastructure is going to be, I think, as good as it gets in terms of highways, bridges, roads.
For a city this size, it's amazing what will be done and new.
So that leads us to that idea that, man, I think growth can really happen then. You have the mobility. You don't have the impediments on the roads. But some other things. We've got some other things, great things going on. You mentioned the amount of construction going on right down Main Street.
Yep.
And it's been phenomenal, and I think it's going to increase. But also, if we go over to Market Street, I know the city's been working for a while.
Yep.
And I think we're getting closer to what we call the Market Street project. That's those 4 buildings just up the street on the opposite side of Independence Hall.
Okay.
Right at 14th and Market.
Sure.
There's a very exciting program. Plans put together. Actually, the project's ready to go to bid if we can complete the capital stack funding package.
Right.
You move on up the street. Obviously, we both know right now we've got to do something with the McClure Hotel.
Yes.
Privately owned. The city's going to be involved in seeing how we can help, what we can do to push that along. But we can't just snap our fingers and change that. It is privately owned, and we have to respect that. And we also have the Wheeling Pit building. That's, again, privately owned, a developer that we've been working with. He's had some interest rate concerns that I think are going to change a little bit maybe this summer.
I think with being what I do for a living, I mean, I think, yes. I think, if things all go according to Hoyle, now it's been a little crazy lately with,
very crazy.
So believe me, I know. And I think that you could see lower rates as time goes on. I think the Fed will probably move at some point this year, and that could be very beneficial with variable rates and any new rates.
In terms of private money, that'll change the landscape.
No doubt.
No question.
Yeah.
So we got some great things going there, but the real game changer is going to happen just 2 blocks from your office up here, the W-View Cancer Center.
It's going to be amazing.
And you saw the announcement last week. We're talking approximately $130 million building.
I saw that.
On a piece of historic land, 9 acres, where the OV hospital was.
Yep.
And many people in our listening audience today were born there, including me.
And me.
And you. That's 2 out of 3 here.
Yep.
Anthony's too young. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's where I was hatched.
So, but that's a game changer of this community. Because I
is.
mentioned to you, I grew up here. I delivered newspapers here. I delivered newspapers to Bill Lyas, to the houses of ill repute, to the convent over at St. Alphonsus. But this was a booming, great neighborhood, full of vibrancy and kids and business.
We're getting back there, though.
And I think you're going to see that as that business goes in, the needs to support that business.
Yes.
More food and beverage places, specialty shops. The city also has the old parking garage site there on Chaplin Street.
Right.
That we're going to hope to develop.
Sure.
In conjunction with the new Cancer Center project.
And you get to Center Market already. I mean, it's booming right now.
Our hope for that development we're talking about would actually create a link between the Cancer Center and Market Street, pedestrian link.
It's a great idea.
Mall aspect there, gardening.
Yes.
That would link that up, and the Center Market's vibrant. That's an exciting neighborhood.
It's. I mean, I'm only a couple blocks away, so I'm down there all the time, and it's better than it's ever been in my existence. I mean, you can go down there and get anything you want. I mean, you can shop, you can get various food and beverage, and of course, Coleman's is an anchor, and it's amazing down there right now.
Well, I think you'll see a lot of perhaps development on Oak Street and maybe even Upper Wood Street in terms of housing and apartments to support the Cancer Center. So
I think
it's going to be a dramatic difference.
Great.
And besides that, it's going to improve the health opportunities for the people.
Oh, amazing!
Not only in Wheeling, but in the whole
region. In the whole region,
probably
yes.
in a 100-mile circumference.
Yes.
People are going to come here to seek the most advanced cancer treatment.
That's awesome.
And so that's exciting.
It is.
As I say, it's an economy driver. It's a health driver. it improves the quality of life because it makes us healthier. We're going to be able to use all of those recreation facilities more.
Absolutely,
that
right.
kind of thing.
Great.
So there's just such excitement, and it extends out into the neighborhoods.
Yep.
That's one of our other concerns. We want this development not to only include downtown. This has to reach out into Warwood, into Elm Grove,
Sure.
Into South Wheeling and East Wheeling. Exciting things, I think, are going to be in East Wheeling because when we take Clay School down,
Yep.
we're hopefully going to do some private-public partnerships there in development.
Yep.
Maybe there'll be a way to even remove some more houses that are dilapidated and unoccupied in that area.
Oh, and you already got the field and the park and everything done, and so that's kind of a good hub, and you can work off of that. Yeah.
It's a hub, and it's walkable to the downtown.
Oh, yeah.
We're finding people from out of town, Jason, in the last year and a half that have moved to Wheeling. Yeah, they didn't know where Wheeling was. They started to do a search for someplace to live as they maybe grew closer to retirement age, or they wanted out of the urban jungles they lived in.
Sure.
They found Wheeling.
Yep.
And that's interesting because not one, not two, I've heard at least a dozen stories since I've been mayor for the last 9 months of people that have come here because of the quality of life, the low crime,
Yep.
the idea that Wheeling is a livable city.
Yes.
It's a place where you can raise your family, where you can worship at the place of your choice.
Yep.
It just is, you and I talked about this earlier.
Yes.
It is one of the best places in the world to raise a family
Amazing place.
and to enjoy life.
Yeah, well, and it's about quality of life. I mean,
It's quality of life.
I think we have more here than community our size for the amount of things that we have to do. It's
When you start listing them, Jason, it's just amazing.
and I think people take it a bit for granted when
We
you've been
do.
here. I mean, it's amazing. So,
We do.
well, we're going to take another quick break,
got it.
and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about that, a little bit about quality of life, and maybe some things that you think we could do to make things better, even further than the stuff that's going on right now. So, this is Bald, Bearded, and Bold, and we will be back with Denny Magruder in 1 second.
Dads, sometimes we're superheroes. Sometimes we're just trying to find our car keys. If you love dad jokes, real talk, and stories about the highs and lows of fatherhood, tune in and subscribe to Bald, Bearded, and Bold. New episodes drop every week. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back here on Bald, Bearded, and Bold. We are with Denny Magruder, Wheeling Mayor, and hearing about what's going on in the city, all the things that we're developing, and the new projects, old projects, just some things about the city. And Denny's been great, good enough to share everything with us. But one thing I would ask you is, you've been in the job for a little while now and kind of got the lay of the land. What is your vision, and maybe some things that aren't going on now that you want to be going on once some of the infrastructure's done? What ideas do you have? I mean, you've been so involved with business throughout your career with, West Bank Arena and all the things you've done in town and the theater. And what things do you have on the horizon that you would maybe consider you would like to get done or you think would be good for the city?
Well, I think, Jason, I want to make sure that we involve the people. As I said, maybe we're going to enlarge the beautification committee, get people involved, hands-on,
Sure,
to do some of that kind of things. But in terms of business, as these buildings get developed and demand increases, we've got to do a better job of recruitment. I think we might have to look again at having our own in-house economic development specialist,
okay,
who does nothing but knock on doors, make phone calls,
Sure.
Brings people to the table. I think that's the next step. We didn't want to bring people in too early because if you bring them into Main Street last year or Market Street this year,
Oh, I get it.
they're
Yeah.
going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
But I think as this stuff starts to finish up, we got to be very active in letting the business world know what's available in Wheeling.
Okay.
With economic development, it might be attending conferences, it might be advertising via the internet at those various places.
Sure.
I'm not that specialist, but I'm all in favor of us having one of those specialists on board,
Right.
to help us do that, because I think the growth potential is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think as that comes, jobs start to follow. I think, a lot of people have said to me, oh, gee, the downtown, all the jobs are gone. We used to have all those retail sales. We had five and dimes. We had 4 department stores. We had 5 theaters. We did have all that today. Unfortunately, the retail sales world has changed. It went from
Significantly,
downtowns, it went
yes.
to malls, and it's even shifted now to big box online,
Yes.
different kind of stuff. So the downtown's not going to be, I don't think, in my vision, a major retail hub anymore.
Agree with
It's
you.
going to be an entertainment specialty shop, a place where you go to spend some quality time.
Right.
To
Professionals. Keep professionals.
Keep the professionals there, absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But a place to capitalize on some of the history of Wheeling.
Sure.
But those are things I think we have to do. We have to be very proactive in recruiting and growing businesses, and perhaps in sitting down with folks like yourself. And I think that's what I like to do as we're finishing up, is to develop some panels of people out there. I don't know everything about the business development, but if we bring enough people together with enough ideas, and we've strengthened our relationships with people like Red.
Yep.
They have an excellent group.
Sure.
But if we can bring ideas and have them involved and have them help, I think the more minds that we can get together, the more ideas we have. That doesn't mean we can adopt them all, but that gives us some of the best opportunity to take a look at the overall plan.
Sure.
So I think for me, it's going to be inviting more people, a broader spectrum of people,
Yep.
to see what Wheeling might look like tomorrow.
Great.
I often look back, and I know that may not be good. Before the show, I talked to you about growing up in this neighborhood and looking back. This was one of the best places in the world to grow up as a teenager.
Sure.
I want it to be that again, but it's not going to be the same as when I was a teenager.
Well, no, the way the world's changed,
It's changed.
and you got
And we have to change with that.
you got to adapt or die. I mean, that's how it works. As I used to say in a movie that I liked, improvise, overcome, and adapt. So you got to
But
got
I
to
think,
do
Jason,
that.
for us, the council and the city really need to set the table. Infrastructure, I think we can start to check that box, but it's a question that always has to be maintained. I think then we have to support and assist and promote development,
Yes.
both private and public. We have to make sure, you said it best a minute ago, we're blessed with quality of life activities and venues.
Yes.
But you can't not stop expanding that. You got to keep adding to that. One of the things I know near and dear to your heart, I'm a finance guy by trade, near and dear to mine, we must ensure the financial stability.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that when I came in, and again, this is not a knock on the prior council or prior mayor or councilors. COVID was a horrible thing.
It was.
But cities and school boards and government entities were blessed with an awful lot of government money.
Yes.
And our people did some good things with some of that money. But we have to adjust because that money's not there now. We can't have that expectation.
Right.
So
And we don't want to act like it is and get ourselves in a predicament.
exactly right. You
Yes.
don't want to wake up and find yourself in a $4 million hole.
Yep.
Recently we've hired a new finance director. There's nothing been wrong, but we haven't had a permanent finance director for more than a year. It just took some time to get around. So we did some homework. We've got a new finance director. The council has an awareness of that. Dave Palmer's our finance chair on the council committee. Dave's pretty experienced. He's worked on budgets and all. One of our commitments is to make sure that we stay within budget.
Sure.
We adjust early when we see a trend developing. We don't wait till it's, as you say, put us in a hole.
Right.
But the other thing we're blessed with, and I want to say this publicly because, the minute a citizen has a problem, they sometimes want to blame the city manager or somebody else.
Agree.
We have an excellent city manager, and he's also very astute at the finance game.
Yes.
That's a blessing.
He's been in the game for longer than most.
He's been in the game.
Yes.
He's been in different environments, different cities.
Different mayors, different councils.
mayors.
He's dealt with everybody. Yes.
But the other thing, Jason, he is so sharp on when it comes to TIF financing, tax increment financing, when it comes to bonding and the resale of bonds and things.
And there's a lot of moving parts to that stuff.
There is,
Yeah.
and Bob is familiar with that, and that's a tremendous asset.
Yes.
To the financial management aspect of the city of Wheeling.
Agree.
The other thing we have to do, and I learned this a long time ago, we do nothing as an individual by ourselves. We do nothing as a council by ourselves. We can't catch the big fish as a community alone.
Sure.
It's all about partnerships, expanding partnerships, building bridges with governmental agencies, with the business world, with the political world. And we've tried to do that. There was a delegation from Wheeling week before last. We were in Washington, D.C. for 2 days. Meeting with the congressional representatives face-to-face, meeting with Congressman Riley Moore.
Great.
We met with some of the intergovernmental staff from the White House, with the Appalachian Regional Commission.
Excellent.
We want to develop those relationships, and it wasn't just the city. I mean, represented there was a Chamber of Commerce, was the Convention and Visitors Bureau. It was the county.
Yeah.
So the one nice thing I like about this area, we like to work together.
I was going to ask you how your relationship has been so far with the commission. I mean, I know those guys, especially Donnie and Zach so well, and they're quality guys. And
I've known each of them for a long time. I probably knew Zach the least because just the age factor. Randy Wharton and I go back. Randy used to sit on my board at the arena.
Sure.
And so those commissioners are really good people. I mean, look what they've done with the Highlands.
It's amazing.
And so this whole thing's really good. And I said to you earlier, it's not just about Wheeling. It's about the High Valley.
We're one community, one big community.
And when we work together and we're stronger, that means the communities around us are stronger. Sure. When they're stronger, conversely, we're stronger.
Absolutely.
So it's all about partnerships and reaching out. And then the other thing is I think that we have to focus in today's world. This is something that social media, I think, has eroded, is we need to be optimistic. We need to look for the good, the positive.
Sure.
If we think about negative all the time,
amen,
negative things start to happen. So as a community, we need to be more optimistic. I'm not saying that we don't need to be realist. We need to identify problems and admit the problems, but we don't need to dwell on them.
Well, and something we talk about on the podcast a lot is that I am a big believer in if you can't control it, don't worry about it. You got to focus on what you can do.
There you go.
And be positive in your own ass. When you wake up every day, it's a blessing, it's a gift. Be positive about that. But if there's outside features or outside things that you can't control, well, you can't worry about that.
And you're right. At that point, Jason, we just have to kind of walk away from that.
Yeah. Stay on task.
Let's treat each other with a little more respect. Let's smile more often.
Civility.
Let's partner up more often.
Yes.
Let's teach our kids to do that and our grandkids.
Just because you have a disagreement, whether it be politically or business related or whatever, doesn't mean you have to hate each other. I have a lot of friends that don't have the same beliefs, but that doesn't mean they're not my friend.
And you're best of friends because you respect each other.
But it seems that we've lost that. We've lost the ability to maybe have a disagreement ideologically, but everybody wants to scream and yell and hate each other. And there's no need for that.
I'm not putting down social media, but I think social media has contributed to that.
Completely agree.
It can be good, but people now hide behind a faceless, in many cases, nameless comments.
Yes.
They're mean, they're brutal, and that just breeds the wrong emotion.
Well, and I talk on here a lot about, being a man and being, not a boy, being real men. And my friends are men. And, there's a way my grandfather and my dad instilled in me, there's a way to be a man. And social media is easy because you don't have to look a man in the eye and shake his hand when you say bad stuff.
You're right.
Or make some negative comment. When you look a guy in the eye, it's a whole different world. And what kind of man are you that, you don't hide behind social media?
Yeah. And be an optimist. Let's expect good things to happen.
Exactly.
Let's cause good things to happen.
Exactly right. And when they don't come out with all the negative, this is not going to work, or this, let's be positive. Let's promote each other.
Well, in my career, there were two major items that stick with me and have helped build me as a person. And one of those was the arrival of the Nailers.
Sure.
When we decided Nailers were coming, it wasn't one guy. It wasn't Denny Magruder. It was a group. We went out to the business community. A group got together. And we said the Nailers are coming to town. And I'll never forget that reaction. Somebody, they won't last a year. They won't last 2.
Still here.
Folks, it's been 33. And it's not because of me. It's not because of you. It's not because of Anthony. It's because of the community and what we did together.
Amen.
We still have a few of those negative people out there saying, it'll never last.
They're never going to go away.
This is the oldest continual franchise in the East Coast Hockey League. Pardon me, the ECHL.
Yeah.
In the ECHL, by far.
Yep.
And the smallest community in the league. What does that tell you?
Yep.
That says positive things about this community and its people.
No doubt.
The other one was the Capitol Theater. The Capitol closed. And God, here's the building, very historic, largest theater in the state of West Virginia.
Right.
Right at our gateway, sitting there at our portal, and it was closed. And we had a group that got together and started talking about, we're going to try to reopen this. We're going to reopen this. You can't believe how many people said, you folks are crazy. You guys are nuts.
Right.
Now you stand in front of that Capitol.
It's amazing.
With the marquee lights on again, with the different kind of acts that they do, with the traffic, more than 100,000 people a year. attend events at that theater.
And look at the events that they've come. I mean, now there's more, and they're better, and they're bringing
bigger,
in.
They're better.
Oh, it's amazing
And
what they're bringing in.
It's getting momentum. Now we have major promoters who kept saying, well, I don't know if this is going to work. We're not going to take a show in there. But now after 15 years, 16 years, they go, oh, those people are serious.
It's working.
And they support it.
Yeah.
The Ohio Valley supports it.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And I think that's what happens. At least that came to me. And two things in my career that really buoyed me up, made me feel good and say there is power in optimism. But optimism takes action. If you say you're going to do it, you got to do it.
You got to follow through.
But let's eradicate some of that negative feeling. If there's something we don't like, let's try to make it better.
Exactly.
Let's try to fix it.
Don't just complain about it. Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
Be one of the people that fix it.
My last couple things I want to do before we wind up is, what do you think? Couple things. What is your biggest struggle as being mayor? What is your biggest challenge, you think, or what are some of your obstacles? And personally, what are some of your biggest challenges and obstacles that you may have, with the job and things that are going on?
I think professionally, the single biggest obstacle is what is an obstacle to many people and many businesses, and that's funds. We have a lot of dreams. You and I talked earlier. We need dreamers and idealists, but we need finance people to balance that.
Sure.
So we have a lot of dreams that would improve things in the city, but you got to have the money to do it as well. So you got to work both ends. And I think from a personal thing, it's just the frustration of not being able to do everything I want to do. When I was campaigning, my family basically and one or two friends joined up with me, and we knocked on about 7,800 doors.
It's amazing.
And that was a spectacular couple of months in my life.
Yeah.
Because I got a chance to talk to people, some of which I had met but didn't really know.
Sure.
Some of whom were friends, some of whom I had never met. And you get to hear about what they think, what their dreams. Many of them agree with you. Some don't agree. Some had great ideas. But I also had ward meetings. The problem with being a mayor, and if you want to do that, I still want to be able to stop and shake every hand, talk to every person.
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Right.
And I hope some people understand that. But I mean, today my morning started at 7:30. I'm not complaining. I'm loving it because, when you're a retired guy going to be 77 years old, you love that activity.
You're a vibrant 77-year-old.
I got a chance to go speak at the casino at 7:30 this morning to the West Virginia Fire Marshals Association. At 10 o'clock, we had a wonderful ribbon cutting over at West Virginia Northern Community College.
Great.
They did the Project Best conference room. You got to see this new room they have over there with high tech. At 11 o'clock, I got to spend about an hour and 15 minutes with the governor at Independence Hall. And then, of course, I'm here with you guys. I love that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But there's a limit to how much you can do because I have a set of priorities. And I had these priorities when I worked. Maybe not in my younger career, but I had adjusted.
Sure.
I had them in retirement. Families first.
Absolutely.
And then your job in that second.
Got to have a balance.
I work with some wonderful people. I just wish I could meet and talk and be more involved. And I know that for me, it's just not realistic to the level that I'd like to be.
Sure. Well, I mean, your positivity, your vision, your collaboration and how you welcome others to come in and give ideas and work with you is a credit to you and your career and you as a man. So I am, I'll be honest, for the first time in quite a while in the city, I am amazingly invigorated on what I see and what's going on and the vision that you have and the council has. And it's been awesome having you here and talk to us about what's going on and all the things you're doing.
Again, can't thank you enough, Jason, for today, but also, again, for what you do, for your vision and dreams. And I welcome you and your listeners. Please, if you have thoughts, complaints, ideas, let us know. Call the city building, ask for me. If I can't talk to you at that moment, I'm not always there. I don't maintain regular office hours because I do so many other things. I will get back to you. It might take a day, 2 or 3. But as many people have an idea or a complaint or a concern, we care about that. I don't want people to think we don't care about them.
Right.
Because we truly do. And sometimes I have to confess to you, you lay awake at night and you think about those things.
I understand completely.
So
Yeah.
You've been there.
Yeah, I have. I do it every day. I mean, yeah.
I know how you look at your clients.
I do.
I admire you for that.
Well, my clients are, they're my family.
They're your family.
They've been with me. They support, as I tell them when I'm with them all the time, I can't live without my clients. They are my livelihood. They feed my kids. They feed my family. So my clients are my family. So
well said, Jim.
And I appreciate it.
And as a mayor, all citizens are part of my family.
I love to hear it.
So
thank you so much, Denny.
Thank you.
You've been wonderful.
Thank you.
I hope maybe we'll have you on again here in a few months and get an update on where we're at.
Be glad to.
All right, brother.
Some really
Thanks
good
so
news.
much.
Thank you.
This is Bald, Bearded, and Bold, and I appreciate you being here. Denny was a wonderful guest. We will see you next time on the podcast. Thank you very much. And remember, ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Bald, Bearded, and Bold, fueled by Sparks Media Agency and iHeart Studios. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with a fellow dad. Got a dad win or struggle to share? Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Stay bold, stay bearded, and keep crushing fatherhood. Until next time.